Phil, you weren't dancing.
Well,
No,
Jack maybe,
I didn't even know I was supposed to, but I could.
yeah. Wow.
You were supposed to be playing along with that piano in the background. I think that's what you were supposed to be doing.
Justice, if only it was real.
Yeah.
No.
If only it was real.
Can we explain to the audience that that's just a screen filler of some kind? That's not
every
really
time I come on.
now.
Every time I come on, right? Because it looks so real, right?
Can we explain to the folks that your house is actually much bigger than that one?
Oh, okay.
Well, I will say I have
wish.
seen the pictures
I
of
wish.
Phil's remodeled kitchen. It is nicer than that.
Well, there you have
thank
it.
you, Justice.
Phil's
Thank
kitchen
you.
is very, very beautiful. I love the remodel.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank
you got to send me
all
some
ourselves.
pictures, Phil. You got to send me some
pain
pictures.
in the butt. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I need
pain in the butt because you did it by yourself. Some of us hired people for that, Phil.
Well, I thought maybe I could save a buck.
Did you?
And I did, but
except that time is money.
It is.
Wow. So
yeah, it's a lot of work.
I hear you. I wouldn't do it.
No.
Hell, I'm not sure I'd ever do it again with a contractor, but that's besides the point.
So what are we talking today, guys? We are talking the North American charging standard. Yeah, with our lithium mining expert. Who did come up with that? Who came up with that name, Phil? Do you know?
I mean, I know. Does Ray know?
Well, I think you just told me before the show. Now,
but no one else needed to know that.
Wait a second, but I can play stupid and say, I am 72 years old and I do suffer from short-term memory loss. It was former vice president. He also invented the internet. Al Gore.
Oh yeah, that's it.
That's right. The star of A Love Story was no.
Our friend Elon.
It was Elon who just made that term up, and then everybody seems to have just went, okay, I guess that's what we're going to call it. So that's what we did. So good for them. But we're talking that more people are jumping on the bandwagon of the North American charging standard. And this time we're not talking OEMs. This time we are talking EV charging companies.
Yeah.
So Blink, ChargePoint, EVgo, Flow, Trillium, Wallbox, and ABB, who I've never heard of before. Sorry.
How about Electrify America? How about that?
Nope. Not Electrify America so far, but all the others have said they will be installing North American charging standard plugs in the future, and they will be giving out adapters now to existing people, so their businesses aren't impacted. So it's gonna be good. Right now, Electrify America says they are monitoring their customer requests.
Oh, okay. Well, I think don't their customers request that they repair the damn charging stations so that they're actually usable?
Yeah.
And they haven't done anything about that. So
no, I'm not sure. So in fairness, they said they are monitoring the requests.
Yes.
They're not acting upon them.
Yes. So the new standard or the standard, so the plug will be the Tesla plug. Is that what it'll be?
Yeah. So that's going to be a lot of them are moving over. I mean, I don't see that Electrify America has any choice in this once more people go over. What we really need are the overseas OEMs. We need one of them to sort of jump on board. My guess is it's going to be Toyota that does that. Toyota, who just ordered their third Giga Press.
Wow.
So that is how they are changing their manufacturing process, is to just mimic what Tesla's doing.
Can you take a moment to explain to the viewing and listening public what a Giga Press is?
It's a really big press.
Okay, good. Thank you for that. Would it put like a permanent crease in my shirts if I put them in that press, or?
So do you know, Phil? I don't want to take all your time. I can pull up some pictures if you want to explain.
Let's pull it up. Let's show everybody.
Yeah, let's show them.
Other than being a real big press,
Yeah.
which it is, and which it would have to be, isn't it something that presses in one press, one sheet, a multitude of what would have been many parts, but it's all done with this giant ass Giga Press, or
correct. So
also known as a gag.
Yeah, a gag.
Or a gag tape. Yeah.
So instead of welding and riveting tons of parts together, they're just pressing the whole thing. Right now on the Model Y, it's still 2 pieces, but the car's 2 pieces. You get the front and the back.
Okay.
The Cybertruck is going to be more, or is going to be less pieces. It's going to be a bigger press. Trying to pull up an article. Here we go. Trying to pull up a good picture. I keep accidentally hitting YouTube videos.
Okay, cool.
Nobody wants to watch YouTube. Oh wait,
no.
Yeah, never mind.
Of course not.
So if you can see,
nobody wants to watch a YouTube video in the middle of a YouTube video.
Yeah, well, that much is very true.
Yes.
So this is a Giga Press here. So this is for the Cybertruck. This one is for the Cybertruck.
So that'll press in one motion a big piece of the truck.
Yeah. So this is a 9,000 ton Giga Press.
So Justice, what part of the truck is this actually pressing? Are we talking top?
I've seen the pictures for it. Let me find a picture, because they have some Cybertruck pressed bits outside of Austin. They show.
And so the whole idea behind a Giga Press is to shorten the amount of time that it takes to build a car, and reduce the number of parts that have to be added individually, because, well, they're all added by this giant ass press. Is that correct?
And not to mention the rigidity of the vehicle is going to be better.
The safety of the vehicle
weld points.
Yeah.
Just overall the structure, rigidity is just going to be overall better.
Yeah, which we have mixed. There was a report about the safety of being on the road with these kind of vehicles.
Yes.
From CBS, that it is sort of, I took as a little bit silly, but because they're going to be so much stronger than your average vehicle, that if you run into a Giga Press DV in particular, with the weight and the structure, your car probably doesn't stand much of a chance. And Mark, I do see your comment. I will get to that, because you're right.
I was going to bring
something that I have said too. Yeah. So here's the Cybertruck unibody chassis. So this is what it looks like from the Giga Press.
Press that
so
all
that's
one piece.
That's one piece.
Yeah, I think it's left and right.
Wow.
I think, but don't. But this is, so in comparison, here's what the Ford F-Series chassis looks like.
Okay.
So Cybertruck pressed, Ford F-Series beginning.
And how many?
I mean, completely different.
How many?
So it's
how many Giga Presses does Tesla have?
3, I believe.
And Toyota's ordered 3.
Ordered, but doesn't have any yet.
No. Well,
So,
it's not like you call the Giga Press factory and say, I need it tomorrow.
Yeah. No. It takes years to get them out there.
Wow. So in essence, this would be considered the cutting edge of vehicle manufacturing.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Because this all too, the Cybertruck is the one that's going to really change it with this because of how big it is, and it's an exoskeleton, so completely different than traditional manufacturing, which has an endoskeleton. So you have that internal frame,
Yes,
and then everything's built on top of that. This is an exoskeleton, so the exterior is the structure of the vehicle, making it much stronger. But yes, so where oops, I lost
So
Mark's
it makes it
comment
stronger.
here.
It's probably less expensive for the manufacturer to produce it. Then what's going to happen is that when accidents happen, it's going to cost more to repair. So insurance rates for that vehicle are going to go up, while still Tesla's going to maintain a higher profit margin because it's going to help bring down costs, be more efficient to produce the vehicle. But then to the consumer, they're still going to get charged the same price. Insurance is going to go up because it's going to cost too darn much to.
You know what, Phil? The really scary part would be is that there could be really a limited number of body shops that would be able to actually work on something like that.
Yep.
You know, because they're used to either banging out the dents and putting in body filler and stuff like that, or they're used to just ordering a replacement part. You know, well, we need a left front fender. Okay, let's order a left front fender. You know, on that Cybertruck, we need an entire left side.
Yeah, right.
Well, yeah. So I will say this, Phil. Insurance rates for most of the people I talk to have gone down. Mine did go up. It went up $12 a year. But from my Kia hybrid to my Tesla, mine went up $12 a year. Most people's go down if you shop around. Now, if you stick with your same provider, so I had Progressive. If I had stayed with them, my policy would have gone up 400%.
Yeah, that's insane.
So that's why I went to Tesla, who was $12 more a year. So, but yeah, the repair is a thing. Already more and more insurance companies are just totaling the vehicles because it costs too much to repair. And that is sort of the downside of these is that, yeah, you're right. Like when you get frame damage, forget it. You can't just replace that part of the frame. You can't just, you know, your whole car. And that's, you know, when I hit the deer, that's what happened. Yeah, on a normal car, I may have been able to just repair the front end, but that wasn't the case in my Model 3. So it was just totaled.
Wow.
And maybe, you know, Tesla takes that into account when their insurance and why it's cheaper than a lot of them.
I don't know. You would have to go through them, right? Hence the reason.
Jared's, though, fender bender in a Cybertruck is totaled. No, a fender bender in a Cybertruck means the other car is totaled, but not your Cybertruck. That's the other thing is they're much stronger than your traditional vehicle. So Cybertruck to Cybertruck maybe, but Cybertruck to F-150, the F-150 doesn't stand a chance. They're just built so differently in that.
I'm sorry.
But also they have bumpers.
No, go ahead, Phil. Go ahead.
Yeah, just to be clear, they have bumpers, guys. Like the bumpers are not part of the skeleton of the vehicle.
We get that, but
and Justice, I get that. Yeah, you know, the vehicle's going to make it through the accident. Yes, but still, it needs to be fixed, right? So, first of all, the skill and the limited amount of body shops that have that skill to be able to repair that and do it right and still remain to be structurally rigid. I mean, the cost involved in that is so much more than fixing that F-150. And the F-150 can be fixed and still probably retain the rigidity compared to what may need to be done on the Tesla truck.
I mean, maybe I don't know because of the strength.
And the safety comes into concern.
I think the structure is so much more solid that it's a lot less likely to get damaged. But you're right. When it does get damaged, what happens? And that is a legitimate concern, a legitimate pushback.
I would think the other concern would be safety-wise, how that plays out for people who aren't driving vehicles that were built via Giga Press.
Well, and that's what CBS's article was about.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't that render all those vehicles that have been built prior to the usage of a Giga Press, wouldn't it render those vehicles inherently more dangerous in an accident than hitting another car that had been built without a Giga Press? I mean, couldn't the damage done be much more catastrophic in a non-Giga Press built car when it hits a Giga Press built car?
So for that, I am reminded of a great film that everyone here, I know, what a surprise, but that everyone might be familiar with called Back to the Future 2, where Marty and Doc are in a flying DeLorean above Biff's 1955, I think it was a Caddy. And he's driving, and Marty says, why don't you just land in front of him and block him off? And Doc says, that's a 1955, actually, I believe it was Ford.
Yeah.
And this is a DeLorean. He would tear through us like we were paper. So, yes, you are correct. However, this problem has existed before. This problem of some cars were heavy and built really, really well, and some cars were garbage and were built as garbage for 60 years now. And the older cars would go through. And so now we're just sort of returning back to the days of when cars were solid pieces of metal.
I'm not sure I'm buying into that argument.
But that is true. So the old 50s cars would destroy a modern day car. Please.
I'm not sure that's true. The old 50s cars, they didn't have crumple zones and stuff built into them. So yeah, I get what you're saying from that perspective. But, the old 50s cars, we're not talking about old 50s cars. We're talking about cars that have been built, say, in the last 20 years, which would be the vast majority of the cars that would be on the road as these Giga Press vehicles come out. So you're going to take a 20-year-old car.
No, I'm not at all. I'm not at all. I have the facts to back me up on that.
Okay.
But
that's for Jared. I get it.
But you're talking modern day cars to modern day cars, and I get that. But I'm just saying that we've had this transition before,
but not to the degree that you're about to have. We went from those 40s and 50s cars to what we consider safer modern day cars built with crumple zones and things like that, almost going back to the old cars that would just crush what has been modernly built today. So if a Giga Press car is more structurally sound, how do you build crumple zones into that?
Well, yeah, okay. So we're talking about two different things here. So and the comments seem to have gotten off what we're talking about too. Did I talk about crash test safety ratings? No, I said car versus car, old versus new. If you're talking about crash test safeties, obviously the modern Giga Press vehicles, all the EVs stand up way better than modern cars in all the crash tests. Their weight and design have a lot to do with that, especially those with the skateboard design just perform much better in crash test safeties. But what you're talking about is vehicle versus vehicle. And and Kimberly said it too. What happens if a Cybertruck meets a CX-5? Well, yeah, you're right. Good luck with the CX-5. What happens if an F350 meets a CX-5? Good luck to the CX-5. I mean, I sort of go on to that. We already have an imbalance of structure and design in vehicles to this day. They already exist. Look, an F1 or an F350 versus my Model 3. My Model 3 is not going to survive that crash. Just even though it's an EV, it's just not going to. So those disparities already exist out there. I'm just not seeing it as like this big, huge thing toward, just like the weights. Are EVs heavier? Yeah, on average 400 pounds. That's Ray, me, and Phil in a car. That's almost just me in the car by myself. But
you're not that big.
But it's this thing of where you kind of go, are EVs heavier? Yeah, kind of. I mean, are they? If you're going to get into a crash with one, do you not want to be in a traditional ICE vehicle? Yeah, kind of. But the disparities already exist.
You're right. You're right. I was overreacting. I will take back everything I said. There you go.
I think what it comes down to is
I mean, versus a 9,000-pound vehicle, almost anything's gonna get
now.
Which
Hummer are we talking about? We talk about H1s, H2s.
No, she's talking about the Hummer EV. She's talking about the 9,000-pound.
Yeah,
yeah, that thing's.
I mean, that just
Cybertruck's going to lose.
Yeah. Oh, everything's going to lose. Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
Semi versus CX-5. Yeah.
Well, yeah, semi versus anything, right?
Yes.
I mean, the disparities are there. I mean, we could go on this road with it, but what about a Cybertruck versus a train? So Cybertruck's at a disadvantage.
I mean, okay. I mean, like that's all right.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think kind of going back, it's just and Igor mentioned in here about how shops. It's just, you know, I go back to look. It's just, to me, it's going to cost more to repair. Consumers are going to face that cost, right?
There's no doubt about that, Phil. You're 100% on the cost of repair is higher in EVs. No matter like I try to sway things into a more sensible topic when we talk about some of these things, like EV weight, or car versus car. But there's no other sensible conclusion other than EVs cost more to repair when you get to that point. Now, maintenance is a lot less.
Well, if
so
they
you
do
can
it this
say
way,
they balance out, but not really. Like the cost of repair is higher, and the more we see a car built into two pieces, I think, you're right. The cost of repair.
If this becomes a trend across the board with everything,
and Toyota's doing it, so you got to figure it's going to be.
Wouldn't it ultimately, if as we get more and more EVs on the road, and as we get more and more vehicles produced via Giga Press, and it's going to become more and more expensive if they are involved in accidents, ultimately, insurance companies will take notice of that and adjust their rates and premiums accordingly. So if we were to extrapolate out moving forward, as we transition more deeply into EVs, everybody's insurance is going to go up. And
man, do I hate to go against my official position on EVs, but correct, Igor. EVs are known to be less involved in accidents than
that's
ICE
because
vehicles.
There's so few of them.
I would say even more than that. How many wealthy people in high value cars get in an accident versus lower value cars that are out there? I think I think EVs are just so expensive that those drivers are extra cautious because they don't want to get them destroyed.
Nah, I'm not buying that. Not buying that.
I just think less of them are out there. Not many people are buying them, right?
Well,
and so you can't really compare. And we've got, and look, the all the EVs that are coming out now have all the tech, have all the safety features built into them. First of all, they're only 5 to 6% of complete market. They have all the tech. We still have ICE vehicles out there that are from the 90s, from the 2000s that are still out there. Yes, of course, they're going to be more prone to safety, right? Because of the features involved in them.
Okay, let me tell you where you're wrong.
Please.
Because when we compare to per 100,000 sold. We're not comparing how many total EVs are in a crash versus how many total ICE vehicles. We're comparing how many EVs per 100,000 sold versus ICE vehicles per 100,000 sold. So we are comparing apples to apples. We're not just saying overall, we're saying per 100,000 sold. So it's still, and I just think it's just, EVs are more expensive and those owners tend to be a little more cautious.
That is such nonsense.
I don't know.
I can't buy that.
And I say it with as much respect for you as I possibly can. Okay? But
I don't take offense, Ray.
I don't think the amount of money somebody spends for a car that's a daily driver that they suddenly say, oh my, I need to drive this one more cautiously than my previous car. That's not human nature. Okay. Go right ahead, Phil. You're about to add something. Go ahead.
I wanted to add something too, that those that have the disposable income to afford the higher cost vehicles, they don't care because they don't care what happens to the car. Because it doesn't matter to them. It's they're in that bracket that if something happens to it, I don't care. I'm going to end up getting a new one in another year anyway. I don't know. I just wanted to add to that.
No, Jarrett, this is the first time we've gotten back onto our debate, and this I love it. And don't feel sorry for me because they're not going to change my mind anyway. But no, this is a debate show. Let's talk about it. So, and I would disagree. I know. Look, I have only ever driven full-time living in California, but I do know the rate of accidents in high-income neighborhoods versus low-income neighborhoods, and in the low-income neighborhoods, the accidents are greatly higher.
Okay,
than high-income.
I would agree with you on that. I do agree with you.
The vehicles in that.
I'm
not saying that people in poor or lower-income neighborhoods are more jerks about their cars, because I've driven through Beverly Hills. There ain't nobody more jerks about their driving than the rich. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that accidents in these areas are pretty skewed, and it's a pretty wide margin. And up till now, EVs have been a luxury of the rich. Remember, the Model 3 is still only a few years old. This is only, 5 years old. So affordable EVs are about 5 years old, realistically speaking. Up to that point, these were $80,000, $100,000 cars. So I do absolutely believe that makes a big difference into the EV versus ICE accident rates. Ironically, I think I'm almost agreeing with you guys in a different way.
Yeah.
Well, once they become more mainstream, which is what we're talking about, that they're, because the Giga Press is going to make it easier to produce these vehicles at a cheaper price for the manufacturers, which ultimately should mean that EVs will continue to get cheaper and cheaper and available to more folks. So as they become more mainstream, they're going to have just as many accidents as every other car out there. Okay?
But again, as we're talking about tech, as Phil pointed out, autopilot engaged has just 0.18 accidents per million miles driven, compared to the U.S. vehicle average of 1.53 accidents per miles driven. The miles driven also is a big factor in these. and I know, Ray, you don't want autopilot to be better, but the statistics overall prove that it still is. The tech, as Phil pointed out, is a big difference. It's modern tech, and there are still 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s vehicles out there that just don't have the tech, and that's part of this. It all sort of works in. Let's just say it's not a black and white issue, that it all works in. But I am agreeing that a Giga Press vehicle, you don't want to get into an accident versus one of those. And if you're driving, you probably don't want to get in an accident either.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna go on a limb and say here, EVs have higher performance than your average ICE vehicle. So what was the old school thought? I mean, kids getting into a Mustang 5.0, Trans Ams, like accidents were prone to happen because they didn't know how to control the power.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I guess looking at an EV, because you do have the additional tech, but still, it's power, it's additional performance. It is more control, Jarrett. It is. I get that. But it's still some responsibility to undertake with having that kind of power.
I don't know if anyone's broken this down like this, but I like that. Like, let's look at only up to 10-year-old cars versus EVs. Because right now we look at the overall total, and I agree. I do think the tech does have something to do with that. I don't know if anyone has put that in there, and I don't think this is what they meant, but this is also one thing with EVs having had been so expensive up to this point. Not a lot of teen drivers in EVs. Mainly the older folks who could afford them. So as EVs get more affordable or get passed down to teens, these stats will probably change there too. And for Mark, it's too tempting to push the limits of an EV acceleration. I will just say this. Jerks driving on the road, EVs don't solve jerks driving on the road. I have had the opposite, where I have a lot of people who come up to me in my Tesla and want to race me and want to jump off at that light and prove the value of their big ICE vehicle. I just never engage. It's just like, whatever, like, I don't really care. But they'll rev their engines, they'll get over to me, they'll honk, they'll look over, they'll be waiting for that light, and they just want to take off and go to prove how superior their ICE vehicle is. Stupid jerks are always going to be stupid jerks. And unfortunately, an EV does not solve that. Just like I say this all the time when people are like, what happens if you run out of battery? Well, if you've run out of gas in your vehicle and you're stranded on the side of the road, an EV is not going to solve that for you. If you're stupid, you're stupid. And the type of car you drive isn't going to solve that.
I mean, that's true. Just as Susanna mentioned, accidents are usually due to human error. I would say majority is due to human error.
Yes.
Well, I mean, yeah, as self-driving cars are still brand new, I would say everything before FSD came out was due to human error, because that was all that was driving vehicles. Now, accidents are accidents, but Kimberly's got it right. You can't fix stupid. Even Elon can't fix stupid.
There's not enough technology for that to fix stupid.
No. I mean,
still have to operate that tech. And again, will come down to user error potentially in even utilizing the tech.
I mean, until every vehicle is self-driving and you can't switch that off, there's always going to be.
Thank goodness I won't be around for that, because I don't want to be around for that.
Well, what about the flying cars in Detroit, Phil? You're right there. You're right where they're testing those.
Understood.
And those are all
I'm okay with the flying cars.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's because I'm a pilot, right? So I like that. But I just don't want this. I don't want the driving experience being taken away from me. Now, there's a lot of people just want the car for that transportation.
Yeah.
To get to point A to point B. But
Igor says
I'll miss that
diamonds are
engagement.
forever, Phil. Diamonds are forever. Oh, never say never. Whatever it was.
I do have a question. Is the intention to have full self-driving available in every EV that's produced?
So one thing we have never discussed on this, and I know we're probably going to discuss it on Wednesday's show with Brandon from Car Questions Answered and Farzad, as we do a simulcast live stream next Wednesday, same time. But one thing we have never discussed here is Tesla's releasing of all their patents. So they don't charge anybody to use any of their patents. And they have said flat out, they will allow any company that wants to come to them and ask for full self-driving software, they will license to them for free, just like their connector. All of their patents are out there, and they want people to come and ask to use their full self-driving. They want that to be out there. Yes, so Tesla is 100% up that they want everyone to use the tech because their mission is to get the EV adoption.
Wait, I'm confused. So if I just heard you correctly, Tesla's just willing to give out the tech to other manufacturers at no cost to those manufacturers so that they can have full self-driving mode in their vehicle. How does Tesla make money from that?
Well, Tesla's making money. I'm sure there's going to be, like on the charging network, they'll let you use the plug, but if you want to use their network, they'll charge you a fee for using the network.
But how do they make money for having developed the full self-driving technology?
Just in their vehicles. I don't know. They will. I don't know how they make money, Ray.
Okay,
that's not their main. I think it's just from all their other ventures.
I'm not buying for a second that any company is giving away technology as expensive as full self-driving mode to any manufacturer that wants it at no charge. We know how much and how expensive it is to try and develop the software that we need for CarEdge.
Yeah.
Okay. And it ain't cheap. Well, it's what, tens of thousands of times more expensive to be able to develop the software for full self-driving for automobiles. I don't care. I don't care how rich Tesla Motors is, how much money they have. They're not giving that stuff away for free. We're missing something somewhere because nobody invests hundreds of millions of dollars, and perhaps it'll approach billions of dollars by the time they really perfect it. Nobody's giving that away for free.
Yeah, it's a licensing of the software, but the hardware patents are free.
Okay, so yeah, here you can, but you got to pay for it.
You can use the hardware, but if you want the software, you either have to develop that yourself or you have to pay Tesla to run the software side of it. But the hardware is all still free. All the patents are open for free.
So you just told me there's a backdoor way that they're making money.
So on the software, yeah. I mean, again,
that's how they're doing it.
But but all their hardware is patents are free.
Yeah, and they're not stupid enough not to make it so that the only software that'll really work on it is theirs. They
also are way ahead of everybody else in software.
And they can share with every other manufacturer how much money it took for them to develop the software. So God bless you, we'll give you the hardware for free. But if you want to go spend $2 billion to create your own software, go right ahead. Or you could pay us X amount of dollars for our software. What direction do you think everybody's going?
Yeah.
That's the way it's gonna go.
Yeah. I mean, we say this all the time, or I say this all the time. Tesla's an AI company. They're barely a car company. They're more of an energy company than a car company, but they're an AI company, and the software is not free.
Exactly.
ever. But all their patents are free. So all their technology patents are free, open to anybody. But, unless you want to design your own software, I think that's where it is.
Okay. So
That you're
that's where they're
probably
gonna
right.
make the
That's
money.
probably
Yeah.
where it is.
Okay.
But all the patents are open to anybody.
I mean,
Okay.
look, Kimberly wants to start her own car company. You see that? She wants to call it the Kimberly
car. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
I
that's
like
not
that.
her.
Yeah.
I don't know if she jumped.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 I
You
would,
can.
yeah.
You can.
Patents are free.
Yeah. Yeah. All you got to do is get a IT team. Just call JP and Hannah, and they'll program it for you, Kimberly.
Oh my goodness.
But that's not the way it's going to work. They're just going to call Tesla and say, "I need your software. I'm going to pay you mega bucks for it," and that's going to be that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's free, but there's a minor catch.
Yeah.
You're going to need that software.
Yeah, you can't use the hardware. It's no good.
Yeah.
So far, everyone else seems to think they can just buy out of the box software. Only Ford has acknowledged that they're just so far behind in software, and it's so incredibly difficult, and it's a completely different company.
Yes.
Doing software than it is building a car. And nobody else has publicly acknowledged that yet. And it's been a lot of people's undoing in their vehicles. Remember, VW had that big problem with ID4 when it first came out, and their software sucked so much people didn't buy their cars simply because the infotainment screen was so bad. So, these companies do have to get their own software. And maybe that's what Elon is counting on. I don't know. But, how much are you gonna charge for the K car, Kimberly?
Lots of dollars.
The KK car.
Ooh, be careful.
Yeah, that was hard to say.
Yeah.
So let's not call it that. Let's just say it a Kim car.
Yeah. Please stop already before we get our license to broadcast suspended. We don't have a license to broadcast.
Goodness. Electric mechanics no longer exist. They call them car technicians. I think they've called them that for a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, certainly we've had that discussion here about mechanics and their need to change and get out there and part of this right to repair stuff that we've talked about, and you and Zach talked about the other day, Ray. Like, this is the time to get these laws passed and right to repair, because as more and more of these automakers come out with the EVs, look, you can't put that in your garage and lift up the hood and fix your own EV. It has to go to a garage with specialty equipment.
That's already happening.
Yeah.
Mercedes with their EV, you can't open anything.
That's right.
You have to take it to the dealer.
Yep. There are several vehicles out there now where you can't even pop the hood. They don't even give you that access. The mechanic has to do it. But as EVs come around, the right to repair becomes so much more important to be able to take it to. So you don't have to go to Tesla to fix your Tesla. You should be able to go to your local mechanic who's now been trained to do that.
Absolutely.
Wow. I think that's
Susanna, yes, you can't tinker with these cars. That's what's so unfortunate about an EV.
Yeah.
Which is what I know Phil and Mario and others have so much of a hard time with is, you can't. You can jailbreak it, but you also void your warranty when you do that, and other. But you can jailbreak Teslas. You really can. We see that every year with hurricanes in Florida, right? You got a EV with a limited range, and then the hurricanes hit, and Tesla goes, "Okay, we're going to unlock the full potential of your battery, so you have a lot more range." And everyone goes, "Oh, I just thought I had a smaller battery." No, it's software limited. That's what it is. It's the same battery. So during the hurricanes, they unlock it so you can get the heck out of Florida, which I believe, as Ray and Zach were talking on the last show, more and more people might want to do when they're looking to buy a car. But
that would be me.
Yeah. So, who will train the mechanics? Actually, Tesla will train them for free.
Yeah, absolutely.
They do have a free training program at Tesla
yeah.
for mechanics who want to come and do that. So, yeah. But yeah, John says, void the warranty by sneezing on it. Not quite that, but certainly, just like your phone, if you jailbreak your phone, then first, don't ever accept an update, because the jailbreak could be exposed and you could void your warranty, and they could actually freeze your phone. Ditto with the car.
Phones have warranties?
Yeah,
One
they
year.
do.
For how long?
I mean, it's just a year.
1 year.
Okay, so what the hell difference does it make?
Yeah, for you. Yeah.
I mean, really?
Well, but Ray, you're supposed to get a new phone every year. Don't you know that?
I'm aware. Yeah, I don't do that, but I'm aware. Yeah. I received an email yesterday from Google that my Pixel now does more things than I knew it could do, or it does more things than it could do like the day before. And I felt like telling them, well, there's so many things it can do that I don't even know about now. Why do I need even more things that I don't need to know about? So yeah, I don't know. My phone's much better today, much more capable today than it was the day before yesterday. And I have no idea what all those things are that it's capable of doing now. And it's over a year old. I guess I should just get a new one. Or jailbreak it.
Yeah, you probably should. You have an Android phone, don't you, Ray?
I have a Pixel.
Yeah. Don't worry about jailbreaking it. You're not going to upgrade it.
Okay.
No, but I mean, look, those of us who buy new phones every year, I am one of them, are idiots. We really shouldn't do that. Like, your phone's good for 5-6 years and it's fine. Yeah. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I do mine every year because I'm a sucker. But I know every time I trade it in and pay my money down for the new phone, I just look like that big Looney Tunes cartoon sucker with some hair on it. I'm aware of that, at least.
So
I wouldn't do that with my car, though.
You get a new iPhone every year when the new ones come out.
I do. The day they come out. Okay. On the day they come out.
Whether you need it or not.
I never need it. I never.
Yeah, of course.
Here's how I justify myself, Ray.
Okay,
and it's total BS, but I'm going to say it anyway because I'm going to keep it in my head. If I do it every year, and I always get the top of the line phone.
Yes.
So every year I'm trading in a top of the line phone that I've paid cash for.
Yes.
So I never make monthly payments or anything like that. So I get the most money from my phone when I trade it in. And typically I pay between $200 and $250 for the new phone with the trade-in credit. And that's it.
Yes.
And so I'm okay with $250 a year to have the newest phone.
You just got to make the first initial $1,500 investment. And then every year after that, it's $250.
And I'm okay with that as long as I don't explain that out loud on the air to people, where I feel like an absolute fool when I say it out loud.
Yeah,
but in my head, I'm fine with it.
So you're paying, in essence, let me help you with this. You're paying $20 a month, in essence, to be able to trade your phone in every year on the first day the new phone comes out, so that you can have the most upgraded new technology. And I guess the real question that I would ask you, do you utilize that new technology? And how has that impacted your life?
No one uses that.
First, I'm also on the developer beta program. So I have the newest iOS at all times as well. But if you're asking me if I use all the technology, since Apple keeps focusing on pictures, the one thing I don't care diddly squat about, and like, oh, look, the camera's even better. I'm like, 4K was fine. I don't really need the rest of this. No, I don't utilize that. The rest of it, no, I don't utilize that either.
So what do you get?
I mean,
Because I want the best, Ray. Because I want the newest.
Because you know why?
Ray, you get bragging rights.
Yeah, because you're an American, damn it. You know, when you're in America, you gotta have the latest and the greatest, the brand newest. Because otherwise you're a fool.
Apple does great with their marketing. You know, they get Apple. They once they get you in, you are suckered in for life.
I will say this though.
Yes.
First generation AirPod Pros.
Yeah.
Second generation Apple Watch.
Yeah.
And I am watching you right now on a 2017 iMac. Which works as well as it did the first day.
Oh no!
I bought it brand new. So
I'm sure it could work better if you got the newest one.
I mean, it actually could.
Yeah,
it could. And I have had this discussion with Phil about using some of the AI technology and Unreal Engine in particular for some of the stuff I do, and that. But realistically, the only device I have on tech is my phone.
Wow.
And until I have to explain it out loud, I'm comfortable with it.
And realistically, I shouldn't even kid you about it, because here I sit as someone who owns 31 watches, wrist watches. Like, last time I checked, there's a clock on my phone. It's telling me it's 1:36. I don't even need to look. I don't even need to look on my wrist. Okay. But yet I have 31 wrist watches. They all tell time pretty much the same way. And when they're all set, they all say the same time.
Yeah.
So,
right. Yeah. You got to get one of these.
No, I don't. I don't need a smart watch for a dumb guy. I mean, what's the point of that?
You could do. So my mother just got one. She's older than you, Ray. But she just got a smart watch because she had a life alert bracelet in case she fell and stuff.
Okay.
And then, but she said, it's a unitasker. It does the one thing. And my mother taught me a lot about technology. She's still more advanced than I am in many of it. But she got rid of that real fast. She said, I don't want a unitasker. So she got a smartwatch. She's with you. She's on the Android ecosystem. Yeah. So she got one of those. But she's like, I use it to tell me my steps, my calories. It does the fall detection just as well, only it has all these other features on it. So that's why she got one. She's 78.
Okay, so she's 6 years older than me. So so perhaps when I'm 78, it'll be time to get a smartwatch for a dumb guy. But right now, I just don't see it. And then but I do feel bad for making fun of you about getting a new iPhone every year when I sit here with a watch collection of 31 watches.
I would also like
we all
to
have our vices. Yeah. Mine is
I
mine
do the
is
same
a wrist
thing.
watch. Yeah.
I want to clarify one thing that I forgot.
Yeah.
I do have also the newest iPad every year. And I have an iPad mini, an iPad, and an iPad Pro. So
okay.
Yeah. So there's that too.
Okay. Well, you like your tech.
I like some of it. So the iPad Pro I use for drafting, drawing, and doing my creative side. So nothing's better than that for me. So that's why I have that one. The iPad mini, I think, is like 4 years old, and it's sitting on a shelf somewhere that I haven't turned on. But my iPad Air I use all the time.
Okay. Well, okay. So not only, if I'm hearing you correctly, and I don't mean to be putting words in your mouth, but I think if I'm hearing you correctly, you are not only a Tesla fanboy, but you are an Apple fanboy.
Yeah.
I
try not to say, but in my defense, Kimberly has it right. Phil's addiction is cars.
I know.
Well,
And that's
It
much
is.
worse. That is much worse than my silly
It is.
little phones.
It's more costly than that $250 a year
Yeah.
to upgrade that iPhone.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Oh yeah, see, pocket knives. There's lots of collections. I won't get
there
into
are.
comic books and stuff like that.
We all have our thing, right? We
Yeah.
all have
Exactly.
our thing.
We all have our. I mean, because I can't sit here and tell you that I didn't just recently spend $700 for some additional bracelets, because I only have like about 10, and so I figure what's another 6, because I need to I need to be able to it's my individual style.
Did you say
like
$700?
Yeah, for another 6 bracelets. Yeah, I don't buy expensive bracelets.
I'm sorry, $100 is not. So I know nothing about bracelets. So
Yeah.
that number sort of blows me away a little bit, Ray. What do you
I'm
mean
sorry.
over $100 for a bracelet?
Maybe it was 5 bracelets for 700 and some bucks. Yeah, I mean that's
Well,
not,
That's not helping. I didn't understand.
yeah.
Not in the world of bracelets.
Well,
just like I'm not in the world of shoes. I don't.
Well,
I heard how much Nikes cost and didn't believe that the other day.
It depends on how you want to accessorize. That's all.
right.
My accessorization is watches and bracelets. And that, depending upon the shirt and the pants and the belt and the shoes and the socks, all this stuff has to kind of tie in. So yeah, I needed more bracelets so I could have better tie-in.
And Phil accessorizes with cars. Phil
That's
has
right.
Phil goes, what car do I want to look good in today?
Yeah, Phil's
yeah.
And he
cars.
goes out and he just gets a new
That's
car.
That's it.
Yes.
So
I mean, yeah, I get it. We all have we all have the crazy stuff that turns us on for whatever reason.
Yeah. And so
Phil wears cars.
Yeah, Phil
Thanks, Kimberly.
That's right. I do want to answer one question because, as you pointed out, I am both a Tesla fanboy and an Apple fanboy.
Yes.
How do I feel about Tesla not having Apple CarPlay? I'm fine with it. I don't miss CarPlay at all. Like I used to use it in my Kia all the time. But the thing for me is Tesla does have Apple Music as one of their apps, which is what I listen to exclusively in the car. So I have my Apple Music subscription just connected to the car and go. So I don't need CarPlay. The Tesla map is better than Apple Maps. Not a big surprise because Apple Maps isn't great. But the Tesla map is better. I use the Apple Music. I don't need CarPlay. It's not a thing for me. I don't, at no point am I like, oh, I really wish I had that. No.
I wish I had Android Auto in my Mini.
You don't have it in your Mini?
No, they don't offer it in the Mini.
That's right.
They only offer.
Yeah, they don't
Apple.
have it.
Yeah, Apple CarPlay, which is nonsense since Android is the most popular operating system on the entire planet.
The one thing that I really like about Apple CarPlay, is that you can put in your phone where you want to go, right?
Yes.
So you put a destination, you can automatically put it in your phone. When you get out to your car and you connect CarPlay, right? It's already there. You don't have to worry about messing around putting in the address. It's actually it's cool for that.
Zach uses it in my car all the time when he's in it. He hooks his phone up to the Apple CarPlay in my car. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I can see a world without it. It's not necessary. If you have the apps that you're normally like, if the software system and Apple, if they allow certain apps to be installed on their system, it could be fine, right? Because that's all you need.
Yeah. I just use my Spotify. I'm good.
I would just say this too. When you say that Android is the #1 operating system out there are 9 different Android operating systems in effect right now on different mobile devices. So you have to combine those to get there. The largest single manufacturer is is Apple.
Oh, stop already. Okay, 90% of the world operates on Android. Okay,
That's not quite 90, but it is close. It is close.
That shifted a bit, Ray. That's
okay. What is it now?
It is close. It is close.
85%.
Well, world, I don't know, but I can tell you in the US, it's close to like iOS has like a 60% market share now.
I don't think so. But Justice will look it up. But I know worldwide, it's like 85% is Android worldwide. You know, and I know we're Americans, damn it. And what happens in the rest of the world doesn't matter. It only matters what happens here in America.
71.63% worldwide in 2023 for Android.
Okay.
With iOS being 27.71%.
That's more than
okay.
double.
What is it for the US though?
The US is a very different market. Let's see. In the US, Android has 42.39%.
See, I was a little bit off.
Yeah, that's because we're Americans. Yeah.
The same Americans that have the North American charging standard versus CCS.
Yes, I get it. Yes.
The imperial system versus the metric.
We are so brainwashed in America that Apple rules. Along with Tesla.
Well, maybe we just no, that doesn't. I was going to say something, but it doesn't hold out. I was going to say we just like American companies, but that would be to ignore that Android is a Google company, which is just as American as Apple, if not more when you take in Apple's manufacturing. So let me not say the comment that I just said.
Good.
Having thought about that.
You can take that back just like I took back that other stuff that I said earlier about EVs. And meanwhile, it is well past my lunchtime, damn it.
It is past your lunchtime. And I think Phil and I have a meeting coming up pretty soon too.
Well,
we do in 10 minutes.
Do I have one coming up?
I don't think you do.
Ray, you don't have to worry about any meetings. I don't.
Well,
I don't
not
require
not
you to
from Phil. You don't have to. We're not excusing you from any meeting Zach has called.
Well,
just to be clear on that.
Well, I appreciate that because he comes over and he works on my couch for like 45 minutes before we do the show. So that's okay. That's fine. It's perfect. And don't forget. Wait, I got a throw here.
Okay. Yep, I was just going to ask you to do that. So great.
Hey, folks, it's happening. I don't know if you've heard, but on Saturday, June 17th, the CarEdge coaches are back in action. Coaches in action. The CIA, we're back, and we're inviting you to be part of the show. Here's the exciting part. We'll be examining 3 real deals right here live for all to see, assuming that we get them. And in order to help us get them, just email Justice, JUSTISE, at CarEdge.com and include in the subject line live deal review. Please make sure to attach your buyer's order, your out-the-door quote. Don't worry about that personal information because Justice can work magic and redact that for you. And please leave the VIN. So when you say you bought the car, then the thieves will be able to figure out exactly where you live and they can go and steal the car. It'll make it easier for them. And leave us your name and phone number so we can contact you directly live on air on Saturday night on our CarEdge Coaches Takeover. How was that?
What time is that, Ray?
It's sometime in Manila, but it's 7 p.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Pacific time.
Love that. Great job, Ray.
Yes, that was great, Ray. Thank you. So, I couldn't have said it better myself, but it was almost like I wrote it.
I believe you did. And I did improvise a little. I do apologize.
No, don't apologize. That was great. So, please send in your deals. We do not have enough deals right now.
Yes.
So we need those deals. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to make up deals for them to review, and that's going to get awkward.
Well, we'll just pull stuff out of the community if that's the case.
Yes, it's absolutely. Please, I would love to review a Tesla deal. Of course, we do EV deals. I actually look at EV deals all the time. People come and for some reason they ask for me on chat when they have an EV.
Yes.
So, and yes, happy Father's Day to Ray, to Phil, to Justin, to myself. Wish myself a happy Father's Day.
To all those fathers out there.
Yes, to all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. We will see everybody Saturday and back here on Tuesday with something. I don't know what we're going to talk about.
But we'll
figure it out.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, Phil and Ray, as always.
Thank you.
Have a fantastic day.
Yep. Thank you, everybody.